Say you are listening to Wrestling with Savage, the best podcast in the history of podcasts.
Pedigree, 1, 2, 3, Pride say you live as a champ. Her last ride straight to hell, a tombstone, a choke slam. Here to give it to you raw. This is Wrestling with Savage, smackdown. Hold the title, this is Wrestling with Savage. Why?
Because they are the best tag team in the world today! Woo!
George.
Wrestling with
George,
Savage.
I think George just tried his resume for Tony Khan. I don't know. Up for George, huh?
With Savage!
Of course.
Pedigree, 1, 2, 3, Pride say you live as a champ. Her last ride straight to hell, a tombstone, a choke slam. Here to give it to you raw. This is Wrestling with Savage, smackdown. Hold the title, this is Wrestling with Savage. Why?
I'm trying to give these two W's. Welcome everybody back to another episode of Wrestling with Savage. We're back at it again. It's Tuesday night. We're going to be talking about all things NXT, and NXT had a lot of content tonight in 2 hours. We found out a lot about Deadline. We found out a lot about a lot of different storylines. And of course that legendary panel that they had, well, if you want to call it legendary. But welcome to NXT everybody. How you doing, Jay? I'm also here with Anthony. What's going on, guys? How you doing tonight?
As Jabroni said, I'm living it up. I'm living it up tonight as I'm watching NXT. And let me tell you something, Savage. I don't know if you're going to start the show, but you're going to start it off to a T. Why? 2 words. Roxanne Perez.
That's great, Jay. We're going to keep moving it. Ant, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Okay, well, Jay's not wrong. Jay's not wrong, unfortunately, Ant. We are going to start off with Roxanne Perez because NXT just kicks off right away into a wrestling match, which is okay. That's how I like my wrestling shows. Right away to the action. Hartwell was using her size and strength. Roxanne using her speed and agility, trying to apply sleeper hold after sleeper hold to try to slow things down. We get a nice drop kick by Perez with multiple covers early on. Back to the sleeper. Indy was playing the heel role tonight pretty well. Started off the match well, slapping away the handshake that Roxanne always tries to go for. She actually shoved Roxanne Perez off of the top ropes. She had a nice slingshot over the shoulders into the turnbuckle. All very nice heel spots. Roxanne now taking a beating. She was working the babyface side pretty well. Indy with a nice kick to the chin. If you guys saw that, that was actually nice. It connected well. Roxanne took it well. Roxanne goes for the roll-up. Indy sits down on her thighs, almost gets the dub. Roxanne, with, in my opinion, too many uppercuts in a few of the spots, but nonetheless, it was a fun match, good match. Perez with a diving attack to the outside, now back in the ring with a crossbody, caught by Indy. Perez then with the reverse inside cradle, big boot from Indy, who goes for some kind of attack, but Roxanne hits the pop rocks, gets the 1, 2, 3, and she is the winner of the match. And Jay, I'll go right to you since you love some Roxanne Perez.
I'll tell you something. When you got to describe the match, you got to describe it with enthusiasm. I got to hear it coming out of your voice. I don't hear that at all. You just sound shot. You sound dead. You sound like you just woke up. This match had it all. But I'm going to really critique it and not call it about Roxanne Perez. Let's talk about Indy Hartwell. I didn't really see enough wrestling out of her, and I think that's a shame. I think we need to see it. I think she's been in development for quite some time, and she's been under the mentorship of probably one of the greats as of now, Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae. She's been around some veterans that have been in the game for a long time, and I haven't really seen any wrestling maneuvers or anything that could wow me or fascinate me or take Indy Hartwell seriously in the ring. I think she just needs a little more work, and I shouldn't even be saying that for somebody that's been there for a while. As Roxanne Perez, you called it. She sells great. She looked great. Do you know what a prodigy is? Do you guys know? Anybody? Anthony? You know what a prodigy is? A human being with exceptional abilities. And this is what this girl has. and she
exceptional
is the number one
abilities.
babyface, and we'll get into that later. We'll get into a couple of people with a couple rocket packs on their back, but we'll get into this later. And this match should just tell you everything you need to know about. I know people are going to critique it and say, "Oh, she fucked up on the pop rocks." She didn't really fuck up. Indy Hartwell should have just bended a little more. That way she could do it, and we saw the result. Love the match.
Oh, Anthony, we know what Jay thought. How about you? What did you think of the opening match of NXT tonight?
I honestly did love the match. Roxanne Perez impressed me. She did impress me tonight. After watching, the match last week, I wasn't too keen.
What did she do that impressed you specifically?
She, like Jay said, she sold. I saw a lot of intensity in her during that match.
How about the beautiful tilt head scissor? How about that nice flip over counter?
Dude, that whole sequence was beautiful. That whole sequence was beautiful.
Oh, shout out to Mr. B-Roll. How you doing? Welcome to the chat, man. What you missed is a hell of a show, actually, filled with a lot of wrestling. The show got kicked off with wrestling. We were just talking about the match between Roxanne Perez and Indy Hartwell. Roxanne Perez comes up with the win. Clean win, pop rocks, middle of the ring. Indy Hartwell did her best to be the heel of the match. I gotta admit, I actually was impressed with Roxanne Perez tonight, too. No real mistakes that I noticed. And I always watch out for them with her matches. So tonight she did a great job. Opened up NXT really fucking strong. And just absolutely fucking killed it. In my opinion. So great way to start off NXT. Like I said, anytime a pro wrestling show can start off with a good wrestling match, I'm all for it. Roxanne goes over. Unfortunately, Indy Hartwell has to take a loss. But she is still in play, and we'll get back into that later tonight when we talk about, the rest of NXT. We get a shot of the panel, and the panel tonight's going to be Molly Holly, Alundra Blaze, Shawn Michaels, Road Dogg, and X-Pac. Basically, half the panel's D-Generation X. There was some nice moments tonight between Road Dogg and X-Pac, but nothing that you wouldn't expect from a reunion of, DX on one side of the table. They were just basically, getting ready to start the panel, but we weren't there yet. They just wanted to give you a shot of the panel so you know who's on deck to talk about all these NXT stars that are going to be part of the Iron Survivor Challenge. That's going to basically lead to a, what is it? The winner gets a championship match, right?
Yeah, title shot.
Okay, all right. And we're going to find out who they're going to be taking on for the title, right? After Deadline, because Deadline, it's going to be Braun Breaker versus Apollo Crews. And, later tonight, there's a beautiful segment. And I want to get into that right now because to me, this was the best part of NXT. I'm going to do something I usually don't do. Normally, I just roll through the show as things happen. But I want to get right into this Braun Breaker Apollo Crews because to me, that is the thing that I'm most invested in right now. I love the vignettes with Apollo Crews and all the work they've been doing. And I am a big fan right now that Apollo Crews is at a place in his career as far as like what I'm seeing on TV between his matches and his gimmick work. This gimmick is working right now for Apollo Crews. I have loved every single vision except maybe the first two. Because at first, when I first saw it, when they were doing the whole beef with Grayson Waller and, he had the bleeding eye and he was beating up guys in the alley, it took me a minute. Kind of like Tony D, Jay, if you remember at first, I thought all the Tony D vignettes were terrible and that he was going nowhere. Quickly, we realized that's not the case. We quickly realized that after a few months of watching his work. Same with Apollo Crews. Came into NXT, wasn't taking him serious. He keeps going at it with those promos, those vignettes, and then delivers in matches, especially specifically against JD McDonough. So right now, he's got me convinced that his vision is accurate and that he is going to defeat Braun Breaker at Deadline. And, Anthony, I'm going to go to you first. Do you think Apollo Crews is going to defeat Braun Breaker at Deadline?
Last week, I had said that he would, but my decision is going to change because of this whole tournament and I have a prediction for it. I honestly think it's gonna be Waller and Braun Breaker for the,
Fair pick. So that's your prediction. You think Waller's going to win the Iron Challenger tournament, and he's going to go on to beat Braun Breaker after Braun Breaker defeats Apollo Crews at deadline. That's your prediction?
Either him or Tony.
Okay.
Honestly, either him or Tony. Fine, but the finals, I guarantee, will be Waller and Tony D.
How about you, Jay?
I don't know how many times I gotta tell you. I gotta tell you Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. Every night I gotta tell you, Apollo Crews is not capable of carrying NXT. In my view, I don't like the vignettes. I think tonight you clearly see that Braun Breaker outshined him the whole 9 in the whole segment. I thought his comebacks were just a little flat to me, but I don't doubt his athleticism. He's probably one of the best to do it. He's been doing it for over 10 plus as a veteran on the indies. So I just don't see him carrying the brand. I see someone else. You have to have someone that's going to have that charisma, and I just don't see it.
Thank you for the subscription, Mr. B-Roll. We appreciate you over here. And yeah, we will try to convince you to start watching NXT because it's great content. Just like what we're talking about right now, Jay does not think Apollo Crews is the guy that is going to take down Braun Breaker. And he has his right to his opinion. But in my opinion, it's not even an opinion. It's more of what I want. I want Braun Breaker to lose to Apollo Crews for multiple reasons. One, because Apollo Crews never got a fair shake in his NXT deal, and I would like to see him, be given the opportunity to start off the new year correct. And there's a bunch of options of other guys that can now become champion if he doesn't do well with the ball. So the biggest thing you have to lose from it is, well, Tony D is going to be your champ, Grayson Waller is going to be your champ. I can keep going. There's a bunch of guys that are capable of being NXT champion, but I think Tony D would be one of those guys. But Apollo Crews deserves his shot. He deserves a run, and I want to see Braun Breaker on the main roster. So if Apollo beats him, I get what I want. I get Apollo to get his fair take at NXT Championship run, and I get Braun Breaker coming to the main roster, maybe Royal Rumble appearance. So for me, you guys rooting for Braun Breaker is actually bad for business. Braun needs to be on the main roster ASAP, and you cheering on Braun Breaker for this match doesn't allow that to happen. The only way he comes to the main roster, and he's main roster ready. Don't forget. And the other thing I want to mention is this one thing, and then you guys can give me your take. Apollo Crews should be the only guy that can beat Braun Breaker, specifically because he was on the main roster. He is a WWE guy, and it will give Apollo Crews that push he needs to get off in NXT the correct way. If you let anybody else take the title off Braun Breaker, you're basically just like ended Apollo Crews' shot in NXT.
Well, let me add this, okay? If you were to do a Grayson Waller or Tony D versus Braun Breaker, they could take the title off of him. You don't know what the plans could be. Maybe we could get Apollo versus one of those guys, and then Apollo finally has a title reign for himself in 23. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but if you don't take the title off Braun Breaker, he's not coming to the main roster. If he wins this match,
and still be in NXT.
Maybe, but it's more certain that he'll come to the main roster. I don't care about just a Rumble appearance. I want him to have a Rumble appearance and be on the Raw after the Rumble or the SmackDown, whatever they're going to do with him. Which I think he's more of a Raw guy, specifically because you have Solo on SmackDown. So, Solo could be that new face enforcer of SmackDown. Braun can be that new face enforcer of Raw. I don't know. The IC title seems to be on SmackDown, though, which I'm really tired of this whole Raw has the United States and SmackDown has the Intercontinental. It's pretty stupid. It's pretty stupid. When was the last time we've seen the IC title defended on a Raw? You know what I mean? It's been a while. Far too long. Same thing for the United States Championship. We don't see it defended on SmackDown. It's not happening. But whatever. Enough about that. We know how you guys feel about Apollo Crews and Braun Breaker. You know how I feel. Let me know how you feel in the comments. You can also leave your questions, or whatever, your remarks. Maybe you have something to say about Braun Breaker's situation. Maybe you think he's not main roster ready. Or maybe you think Apollo Crews is not ready to have any kind of run in NXT. Let me know what you think in the comments. We got another segment now in NXT, back to NXT. Chase U segment. Duke says, I let you guys down, Andre, but I've been looking, I've been gathering a lot of signatures of people who think you deserve to be in the Iron Survivor Challenge. Grayson Waller comes out, interrupts, goes on to say that Duke is all about Duke. Grayson tells Chase, you will never be a champion. And then Andre Chase wants to whoop on Waller, but Duke says, nope, I will take care of it. And, this is going to set up a match for later in the night between Grayson Waller and Duke Hudson. Jay, were you excited about this?
Absolutely. We need Grayson Waller on the show. Absolutely.
So even if it means he's taking on Chase U, right? How about Chase U? What did you think about Chase U's representation tonight? Especially Thea Hale. I thought she always kills it in every segment.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think she kills that. I think she just overdoes it. And I think
that's her gimmick, though. She's a cheerleader. What is she supposed to do? Not be over the top?
But every time it just reminds me of Anna Jay just going crazy every second.
Anna Jay, listen to me. Anna Jay couldn't hold a fucking candle to Thea Hale. And Anthony, mark my words, in 10 years when we discuss this, I'll bring it up. I'll say, hey, you remember that night I told you that Thea Hale's going to make more money than every other woman in the roster after 10 years? That's what's going to happen. That girl is headed for stardom. Stardom. That's all you need to know about her. I don't know about Andre Chase, though. If he doesn't drop this Chase U gimmick, I don't know where he'll be headed in a couple of years. But for now, it's working in his little 400 Performance Center arena. The question is, will they chant Chase U in, maybe an arena of 20,000 people who don't watch NXT? That's the question. We don't know if Andre can get this gimmick over on the main show. But for now, it's over on NXT. And you know what else is over on NXT? My interest in Dijak. That's what's over on NXT. I have absolutely no interest after what I saw and heard tonight from Dijak versus Dante Chen, who, in my opinion, Dante Chen was more impressive than Dijak as far as convincing me that what was happening to him in the ring was real. He looked like he was getting abused. He sold everything over the top well. This was an enhancement match, but this enhanced the wrong guy. It didn't enhance Dijak at all. Didn't make sense. You're coming back with all these promos talking about justice, this, that, the other, and you're not going straight after Braun Breaker? You're not going straight after Carmelo Hayes? You're not going straight after somebody with gold? Maybe just go abuse Pretty Deadly? You're just picking on some, low-tier talent? How am I supposed to be impressed with him right now? I wasn't impressed at all, man. The match basically started off with Dijak, who looked constipated, by the way, tonight. Comes out with a hard justice. We got a big sit-down choke slam, but now more abuse to poor Dante, who's catching a whooping. It looks like he was actually busted open in the lips. Dijak grabs a mic, says that this is an example of hard justice. I want you to look in my eyes. The only thing that you're seeing is the infliction of suffering. This place, NXT, is the place of refuge, but not for me. I came here to eviscerate any man who stands in my way, and, it will make zero difference to me who it is. Blah, blah, blah. Boo! Boo! If I was in the Performance Center, that's what I would have been doing from the moment he said, look into my constipated eyes. Boo! What you got to say about this, Jay? I'm hoping you agree with me. I hope you think this was shit. Because if you think this was good, I might have to reevaluate what you really bring to the table.
I'm still going to ride on the Dijak train. I'm going to be first class. I'm going to have a pillow. I'm going to have a blanket. I'm going to lay there and relax. I'm going to go with it. You know, we'll see what happens, but I wasn't impressed, as you guys say. But I'm gonna ride with this train. You know, he's a little rusty, been off the TV for a while, so I'm gonna give him some time. Give him some time. And I think, to answer your question, he's going after everybody. That's what Hard Justice.
Okay, Hard Justice. Sounds like a Big Boss Man ripoff. Tonight there was a lot of ripoff going on. A lot of gimmick infringement going on tonight, which we'll get into a little later in the night. Actually coming up real soon after we talk about this exclusive little interview kind of segment they did with JD McDonough, Ivy Nile. JD was basically talking to Ivy Nile of Diamond Mine. You know, just have a conversation. The Creed brothers come along and they start talking some shit. JD's talking some shit. He's like, basically, I think you know, Veer Mahan and Sangha are going to kill you. And, you know, it's science. They're going to crush your heads open. You guys better tread lightly, you know. They didn't like to hear any of this. They basically told JD McDonough to fuck off. You know, JD McDonough said, sure, I'll fuck off. They're going to have a match later in the night, though. It's going to be JD and Julius Creed later in the night, which I was pretty excited about that match. And the match actually delivered, which we'll get into later. But now we have another panel, Iron Survivor Challenge panel. HBK goes on to say this is the first time this is being done in the World Wrestling Entertainment. See, that's why they don't say World Wrestling Entertainment. Because World Wrestling Federation used to sound good. They used to say that all the time. Oh, in the World Wrestling Federation, Sean. You don't hear them say in the World Wrestling Entertainment. No, in the WWE. First time ever done in the WWE. Road Dogg and X-Pac go at it. X-Pac says he was called the 1-2-3 Kid. But I'm not good with numbers. Road Dogg basically praises Carmelo Hayes. He says he dresses like a star, looks like a star. Alexa Blaze praises Tony D. HBK says he's still a couple of weeks away from, you know, maybe returning, which we find out later tonight exactly when he's returning. Stick around and you'll find out when. X-Pac brings up JD McDonough, who says he can go and that he is on another level. Even X-Pac says this. Molly Holly brings up Joe Gacy, says that it's time for the audience to know who Joe Gacy is. Road Dogg says Von Wagner is a force to be reckoned with. I have a hard take on that later during Von Wagner's match. Very upset about that. X-Pac and Road Dogg both bring up Axiom, and they say that he will not be back from injury in time. Which, again, this doesn't make sense either. And we'll get into it later. And then they say Grayson Waller is also a big-time pick. So, we knew their picks, right? We don't have to get into that yet. We'll talk about this whole panel at the end when we talk about who's going to be in the match. But now, let's talk about this. And, Jay, I'll go to you first. Grayson Waller versus Duke Hudson. I'll just give it the quick rundown and you tell me exactly what you thought. Waller was playing his games, pissing off Duke. Duke hits a beautiful super sidewalk slam. Waller takes control for a moment, misses a big elbow drop. Duke then hulks up. He literally hulked up. He does the whole Hulk Hogan gimmick with the exception of the leg drop. Waller ends up hitting the stunner and getting the 1-2-3. Waller getting the big win. What'd you think of this, Jay? Did the gimmick infringement bother you?
I think everybody needs to stop doing the Dusty jabs. I've been saying this for the longest, but everybody still wants to keep doing it, thinking they could do it best like Dusty. Please, stop. You're embarrassing him. You're embarrassing me, okay? But overall, we all know where this is going with the storyline. We all know the betrayal's coming. We all saw it tonight. I'm not excited about any Chase U matches. I'm sorry. Not even a Duke Hudson match even before he went to Chase U. I'm just waiting for the betrayal. I'm waiting for the match. Deadline's coming up. It needs to happen soon. Hopefully it can happen next week.
Okay. How about you, Anna? Do you have any predictions about this whole storyline and what they should do?
Well, I'm going to just say about time that we're getting Siege drop for a turn. I honestly did call it last week. I knew Duke Hudson should not be with Chase U, first of all. Second of all, the Chase U gimmick needs to go away because it's just, it's over, but...
Well, it's only over in the Performance Center, from my opinion.
Right, and I was about to say, it's not going to go... You know, but, like, you know, I don't think he's, you know, the guy's ready for it yet. So, but... I mean, I'm going to just say this. Just Grayson Waller in a ring, I love it. I love seeing him in the ring and wrestling because that guy is just fire in the ring and on the mic.
Oh, they definitely have a lot of potential. And shout out to Gilch1982 for subscribing yet again. Appreciate you, Gilch. Maybe if you watched fucking NXT one of these weeks, or you can come on here and I can tell you all about it. But I agree with you. I do not see Chase U lasting long, especially if you want someone like Andre Chase or Thea Hale to ever be taken as serious competitors. I would love to see Thea Hale go off on her own next year and show us what she can do on her own in the ring and on the mic. Same for Andre Chase. Same for Andre Chase. Because I feel like underneath that sweater, there's a monster wrestler maybe waiting to come out. But we're going to find out. We have to wait and see. Now we're having an interview. Big Body Javi says it's time for Big Body Tuesdays. He says he's got a lot of new merchandise. Big Body baseball bat. He's got a Big Body pillow. He also lets Mackenzie and everyone in the NXT universe know that he is a sex symbol, that men want to be him, and you can be like him too by picking up his new BBC cologne. Big Body Cologne. He likes that BBC. Mackenzie goes on to mention that it stinks like rotten eggs, stinks like ass. He says, no, my BBC smells wonderful. He actually went with this. He went hard with this. I'll give him that. He maintained a straight face, didn't laugh. Mackenzie didn't break character. Axiom comes out, says, hey, I heard you wanted to fight me. Big Body says, no, you're not cleared. Axiom says, I am cleared. Mackenzie's like, see, Javi, you get what you want. You get a match with Axiom. And see, this doesn't make sense because now Axiom, we were just told by Road Dogg, like not even 10 minutes ago, that Axiom's a few weeks away from returning. Yet here he is. I'm back. Yeah. So I don't know if they did that on purpose to kind of just swerve you a little bit. Maybe like, oh, you wouldn't see it coming because he said that. But if that's what they were going for, I don't think anybody even cared. I don't know. Anybody have any comments on Big Body Javi and his BBC?
First of all, who cares? Why is this guy here? What is he doing? What is his goal? Like, you're not giving us the reasoning to give a shit. I don't give a shit about this guy. These segments with him are pissing me off because it's just like same shit every week.
But would you agree that he went hard with the BBC?
I'm done with the stupid sexual innuendos with this crap.
But he did go hard. I mean, he did not hold back. He went real fucking hard.
Yeah, he went real
Mackenzie honestly looked very uncomfortable the moment he said it. I don't think she was fucking ready for it. I really don't. I think he straight shot it on her. And you know what? She maintained professionalism. And I'm sure after it, she was probably dying. I think they were actually dying after this segment. They were probably laughing.
Yeah, but
I'm surprised they even got away with it on USA Network, to be honest with you. But, what are you going to do?
Yeah, but I mean, how many shows do you have them on USA that make sexual innuendos all the time?
That's true. Jay, how about you? Are you going to pick up some BBC? Big body cologne?
Smells like fish and body odor.
No comment.
No comment. He's got no comment for the Big Body Hobby. I would love to know out there from you guys watching, what do you think of Big Body Hobby? Does he deserve his little run that he's getting right now? Because in my opinion, this guy came out of nowhere and is just getting TV time all over the place. So that tells me something. Somebody likes Big Body Hobby. There's no other explanation for it. You're not put on TV in segments like this unless someone likes you and or someone sees something in you. So the point is this. We don't really know, maybe. Maybe they see something that we just don't see yet. Maybe we don't see it yet. I don't know.
Okay, but you gotta put it into this way, or into this perspective. Why is this guy on the show doing joke segments? If this guy's got potential,
maybe that's the potential someone sees in him. They see potential for character and talking and all that. Look, obviously, it's working because look at you. You're very bothered by Big Body Hobby. You don't like him. You hate him. It seems like.
No, I don't hate him. It's just and WWE and creative is not giving me a reason to. I don't know who this guy is. I don't
know who he is. He has a big body bat you can buy. You can buy the Big Body pillow.
All right, Savage.
I can't believe we're still talking about big body fucking Alvy. Let's keep it moving to a match. Fallon Henley with shit, whatever their names are, Briggs and shit, or Broggs and Jensen. I don't care anymore. I'm done with those guys. I've gave them enough chances to impress me. They don't deliver on shots. They want to run down to the ring like the ultimate fucking warrior with all that intensity, yet when they punch someone, they have no intensity. The only time they have intensity is when they're doing their big, like, grapple moves, suplexes and sidewalks. They do all that stuff good. But the basics, the basic kicks, the basic stomps, the basic slaps, the basic fucking lockups. These guys couldn't fucking lock up with with anybody in the WWE. They're not ready. They're green. They're the greenest talent they have. Fallon Henley, on the other hand, she's ready. Fallon Henley can fucking go, and we saw it tonight. I actually really enjoyed this match. It was a banger of a match. I swear to God to you, Jay, I thought the match was great. James with the nice heel work to pick up the win, and you always talk about how she has a rocket pack attached to her back. I've heard you say it multiple times. What, you don't think she has it anymore, Jay? Tell us.
Let me tell you something. There was nothing impressive of this match. The only thing was impressive was Kiana James at the age of 24, the only NXT breakout star to basically be on TV every single week. The Rocket Jack is flaming. It's burning hot. I'm riding with it. We'll talk about it even more later. But you could definitely see in the ring a girl who is inexperienced, doesn't have wrestling skills whatsoever, a former dance and cheer Morningside Iowa University from 2015 to 2019. This girl has athleticism that we've seen in the ring. She could definitely do the work. She has the facial expressions. She can sell. Her 401k is fire. Somebody loves her because they're just giving her a rocket pack, and now they're just flaming and now going to the top, which we'll talk about later.
Okay, how about you, Ant? You got any comments on this match and the future of Fallon Henley? And Kiana James. Who do you think's got a brighter future? We got to lay it out there.
Honestly, in my mind, with what I saw with these two women tonight, is something that a lot, some women in NXT is lacking. You know, they brought those two women, literally the bell didn't even ring yet, and they just went at each other. The match had intensity. That's what I love seeing. Where is that on the main roster? You have very few women on the main roster that bring intensity. Those two women are going to be main roster women. They're going to be on the main roster sometime in 2023.
I love your take on that, because I actually agree with you. The match was very entertaining, and they convinced me that they were in a fight.
Yeah,
that's how I felt. I felt like I was watching an actual fight with two women who are at heels for each other because they're both competing for that next essential spot. You know what I mean? It's real. There is real heat there. These are two women that want to be successful in this business, and they have to step on each other for it.
And Vic Joseph even said it. He was like, "This is not a wrestling match. This is a fight."
Yeah.
They're in a fight right now, and that was one of the most beautiful things I've ever fucking seen in my life.
The funny thing is, I didn't even catch that on commentary. I just said that right now because that's how I felt. I felt like we were actually watching a fight, man. And it was a good fight. You guys should go back and watch it. Now we get a promo from Malik and Anofi with Odyssey Jones. They're all there trying to hype up Malik because he has a match coming up against Von Wagner, which this is another one of those matches that we're going to get into because I have some serious thoughts about this match. I saw a lot of things that really fucking bothered me. And we're going to get into that and much, much more, including the women's panel discussion. So as soon as we're back here on Wrestling with Savage, we'll tell you exactly who the panel thought should be in that Iron Survivor Challenge.
Listening to Wrestling with Savage, the best podcast in the history of podcasts.
Pedigree, 1, 2, 3, proud to you live at the champ. Our last ride straight to hell, a tombstone, a choke slam. Here to give it to you raw. This is Wrestling with Savage, SmackDown, hold the title. This is Wrestling with Savage. Why?
Because they are the best tag team in the world today. Woo!
George, I think George just tried his resume for Tony Khan. I don't know for George. Huh?
course.
Pedigree, 1, 2, 3, proud to you live by the champ. Her last ride straight to hell, a tombstone, a choke slam. Here to give it to you raw. This is wrestling.
All right, we're back. Just a quick little break. You know, we had to get our beverages in, you know, scratch our balls, you know, do the things we don't want to do on camera. You know what I mean? We're live. It's real. This is Wrestling with Savage. We're covering NXT, and we try to cover NXT every single Tuesday night. I don't think I've missed a show. Jay, have you ever missed an NXT show?
Never.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. For Raw, we've seen him miss a Raw. I've seen him miss a SmackDown.
Yeah, I'll miss those, but not.
But I've never seen him miss an NXT because this guy's love for NXT is on another level. He loves NXT the way Fat Kid loves cake. And you know what? I'm okay with that, man, because that's what wrestling fans do. We love shit. This panel was going over the women's discussion. The names that were brought up, I'm just going to say the names that were brought up by the 5 people in the panel. Again, a reminder of the people in the panel. You have Shawn Michaels, Road Dogg, X-Pac, Molly Holly, and Alundra Blaze. And they all go on to mention Roxanne Perez, Zoe Starks, Indy Hartwell, Cora Jade, Fallon Henley, Kiana James, should be the woman that should be in contention for this Iron Survivor Challenge. Cora Jade was doing another promo on TikTok, I guess talking some more shit. Right now we're going to move right into a 6-woman tag match. Chance and Carter with Nikita Lyons versus, I don't even know, because Zoe Starks just comes out, attacks Lyons, taking her out of the match. Thus, the match doesn't even start. So all these women that came out to the ring, they now got to go to the back. Wasted entrance, wasted time, all because of Zoe Starks and her lust for destruction of Nikita Lyons. Because you can really feel it there. You know, there's some real tension there. At least Zoe Starks, maybe not on the microphone, presented it that way. But with what she does physically, it looks like she always tries to hit Nikita Lyons with something a little extra spicy. So I'm all there for that match when it happens. Now we get a promo for a new wrestler coming from NXT UK again, right? They're picking someone else up. Jay, maybe you know a little bit more about this girl. She says she's coming here for a new life. She left her homeland. New feathers emerge, stronger. I have shape-shifted into a new version of myself. Her name is Ira Valkyria.
Never heard of it.
In the Nation's Corner.
Why they went with that name?
I have no idea, but I was in the Nation's Corner Discord during the NXT program, and I believe I was reading that a couple of people said they looked up her work from NXT UK, and that she had very impressive vignettes, and that she actually looked good in the ring. I don't know if that means anything, but I guess we have to wait and see. Who knows when she's coming back, or when she's not coming back, when she's starting. And then this leads into another promo from another woman tonight. The women were owning NXT tonight. The women had all the matches. They were having promos. They were killing it tonight on NXT. Elektra actually really killed it. She says that I don't follow trends. I set them. I will take out the heart of NXT. I did not come back here to make friends. I came back here to build an empire of my own and never bet against La Madrina, which apparently I found out means godmother. That's pretty sick, Jay. That's like an awesome fucking name for Elektra, man. She's coming in here. She wants to be like the female Tony D. He's the Don of NXT. She's going to be the godmother of NXT.
Oh, God.
I like it.
She's recruiting. She's the star. Right now, this tells you she's recruiting an army. I can't wait. I even have a few women in line. What about that woman?
No. You think she's only recruiting women though? She's not going to get any men.
She's already recruiting an army.
Who do you think? You don't think she's recruiting men though, too?
See,
I honestly think because of what you said, Savage, female Tony D. I have a funny feeling that her and Tony D are going to pair. That they're going to pair her and Tony D.
Super possible. I mean, we've seen them work together in the past, and they have a lot of history there. So, could be very possible. We're going to have to wait and see if that pans out. Now we're going to get a match between Big Body Javi versus Axiom. Listen, we knew what was going to happen here. Big Body Javi is here for 2 reasons. To make you annoyed and to take losses. And that's what he did tonight. He accomplished on both fronts. If that was his mission objective, and they said, listen, we need you to go out there, cut a promo, and bother everybody, make them hate you, and then we need you to go take a loss to Axiom and make it look good. He did that tonight. You can say whatever you want about Big Body Javi, but if that's what Shawn Michaels told him to go do tonight, he actually succeeded. He had a match with Axiom. He took that drop kick at the end, which Axiom, that shit looks like something out of Marvel vs. Capcom. That fucking drop kick he does, the way, the height he gets, the velocity he pushes into the face. He actually connected. Big Body Javi took a shoe to the face tonight. Don't fucking think. Go back and watch it. He took a fucking shoe to the face. What'd you think of the match, Jay? Nothing, right? Nothing?
Didn't do it for me. I think he's trash. I think we've seen it.
Wow.
I know what he's trying to do. Kudos, but it's not working. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing the body of work either in the ring. I didn't like it.
It was a short match. It wasn't a long match.
I wasn't enjoying it.
It was a very short match. Axiom made quick work of Big Body Javi. And did you appreciate when Big Body Javi got a boot to the face?
Yeah, but I'm gonna go off of what you said. Like, if that's what Shawn Michaels told him what to do, I mean, in his mind, he's like, all right, I don't give a shit. You're paying me? Cool. I'll take boots to the face every week.
It's not necessarily about just getting paid too, man. You're paying your dues, He's paying. You got to pay your dues. Some men have to pay more than others. But
you know what? Maybe I'll say this. I'll give this guy a chance. I'm going to give him a chance next week, and I'm going to thoroughly watch what he does and how he is.
Hold on, I got to pause you for a second. I got to pause you because we got a first-time chat from someone on here that is about to become my best friend, and their name is Tiffany Stratton is the GOAT. And says, I miss Tiffany Stratton so much. She was literally the best part of NXT by far. She's been away so long. I never want to see Zoe Stark again. Well, listen here, Tiffany Stratton is the GOAT. I agree with you. I actually said it tonight in the Nation's Corner Discord. I said, where the fuck is Tiffany Stratton? And they all went on to tell me that she's injured. That's what they told me. They said that she's injured, which sucks. But don't worry. Don't worry, buddy. Tiffany Stratton is going to come back. And she's going to be the superstar that we all know she's going to be. She already is a superstar. In my opinion, if she never got hurt, she is my 100% pick to go on and beat Mandy Rose for the NXT title. But, that's not the story right now. Thank you for the first time chat. We appreciate you, though. And we do love Tiffany Stratton here on Wrestling with Savage. Even Jay I think he's only said great things about Tiffany Stratton. I've never heard him say a bad thing about Tiffany Stratton since day one. And I miss those days. You remember those shows, Jay? The early shows? The episode 30s and the episode 40s? And we're sitting there talking about Tiffany Stratton for like 30 minutes, man. About how fucking phenomenal she looks. And we're not talking about how she looks. We're talking about in the ring. Forget about how she looks. That's even on another level. But Tiffany Stratton, certified superstar. Don't worry about it. All right. Let's keep it moving. Nikita Lyons, they show us that she's being worked on in the back. And then the medical team tells her that she's medically cleared. So she can compete later tonight. So the match is going to be back on. And that's going to be your main event later tonight. Nikita Lyons, Chance Carter versus Toxic Attraction. But now let's get into the interview between the NXT Tag Team Champions of the World, Pretty Deadly. They go on to say that there's been a lot of talk about the Iron Survival, deadline talk, but not enough Pretty Deadly talk. And the whole world is fixated on the World Cup. And they're trying to tell you what's better, World Cup or Pretty Deadly. Like, here's the World Cup. Here's Pretty Deadly. So they're pretty much sucking themselves off. Next week is Xmas, apparently. And they actually said this. They said next week is Xmas, which I thought was kind of stupid. Otherwise, next week is not Xmas. Next week is just December, you fucking morons. But maybe that's the point. Maybe they're trying to be like just dumb blondes. If that's the case, they should both have blonde hair. Right? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Looking back, What else? World Cup, pretty deadly. Next week is Xmas. And they say they're going to tell us a real Xmas story next week. So that means next week, NXT, you will get to hear from your NXT Tag Team Champions, Pretty Deadly. Now we're going to move into the Apollo Crews Vision, which we talked about earlier. It was real simple, real quick. Braun Breaker joins him at that diner they've been doing a lot of these videos from. Braun asks what he's got there. Apollo Crews goes on to say, I have the breakfast of future champions, which was a great line. Perfect line. And looking back, he says, being around NXT now, I want that title more than I ever did. And basically tells Braun Breaker that the vision's going to come true at Deadline. You already know how we feel about it, so we don't got to talk about it again. But now we're going to get into my favorite match of the night, JD McDonough versus Julius Creed. Absolute good work by both men. Julius, very impressive tonight, which we'll get into in a second. We see Sanga, Veer, they make their way to the ring after the picture-in-picture break. Julius with a nasty suplex spot. While JD was trying to counter with knees to the head, Julius has him in the suplex the whole time. JD McDonough's trying to kick him in the head. Fucking Julius actually sits down on the floor and still has JD McDonough in the suplex position. He actually stands up. He never drops JD McDonough from the sitting down position into the standing up position while getting hit in the head. Fucking crazy, bro. He never broke the spot. And then a nasty belly-to-belly overhead suplex in Paris from Julius Creed. JD with a beautiful kick to the head and an even more gorgeous springboard moonsault. JD ends up getting DQ'd because he hit Sanga with a steel chair. He was trying to hit Julius with a steel chair, but then Sanga comes in and takes the shot for him that was meant for Julius, which this ending kind of pissed me off. Because why are you getting DQ'd for hitting someone that's not in the match? What does that steel chair have to do with Julius? It didn't hit him. It hit this other guy. Why is he even at the ringside? If anything, this referee is a noob, and someone should fire him. That's my take. Yeah. That's not how you end the match. The chair didn't even hit fucking Julius. Where's the DQ?
I think it was just the reasoning of him using the chair, period.
Yeah, but they let people hit like in the steel steps. We always see that steel step spot, and there's never a DQ.
Well, wait a minute. I like to call this a fuck finish. Because that's what.
Tell me more.
It's a fuck finish. Because now you could set something up. You could set something different up now. You could set up maybe another rematch, or you could, because you don't know. You could, remind me again of who hit.
Well, we had the Creed brothers involved. You had Veer Mahan, Sanga, Brutus was out there, Julius was out there, and then for some reason JD McDonough is getting involved in all this. And that was going to be my next question: is why is JD McDonough even being involved in this in the first place? Because this looks like it's a tag team feud, unless this means it's over for the Creed brothers. They're going to break up, maybe they're going to split up. Diamond Mine's probably on their way out, right? Do we maybe see a new faction from JD? Maybe he steals, like, let's say Brutus from Julius, and then he steals Ivy Nile?
Yeah.
And then Julius gets his singles run?
Yeah, because, like, they... Yeah, I could see this going... I could see that going that way, too.
How about you, Jay? You got any thoughts? He's been pretty quiet over here, man.
Look, guys, I'm getting bored with the fantasy talk, all right? That's why I'm not saying that goddamn word.
Long-term booking, Jay.
Fantasy this, fantasy that, bad booking. Listen, there's no doubt about it. This was the match of the night. JD could work with anybody. Julius was impressive, but it was a horrible finish. And I don't understand the point of Veer and Sanga versus the Creed brothers, because it's not like the Creed brothers have the tag title. So what is the point of beating these guys when you could just basically have this match on a regular TV show and just fight for the belts against Pretty Deadly at Deadline? Because you don't know, because maybe this could be the cause of the breakup.
Yeah, I think it's definitely leading to something, because why else would you even put JD McDonough in this entire situation if it wasn't going to lead to something? He's there for a reason. What that reason is yet, we don't know, but I could see it to make trouble, Jay. You know what I'm saying? And Cole 2K, I agree with you. The referee did look like a fool. Shout out to Cole 2K and YouTube giving us a nice chat. Appreciate you, man. But we got to keep it moving. Now we have... what do we got here? What's next? Ela Don promo cut from Alba Fire. Basically, they're showing us a video package of what Ela Don did to Alba Fire to make her lose to Mandy Rose. Alba Fire talking a bunch of shit. Does anybody care about this? Do we even need to discuss it? Okay. All right, great. Because I don't care. I'm not interested in any of these.
Main event.
It's all shit. It's all shit. And then we get more shit. Dijak in the parking lot. And then the Don would like to have a word with Dijak. Dijak says, I know who you are. Tony says, I love it. I love what you're doing, I love it. You got a list. You're taking out Wesley. You're basically doing me a favor, But next week, I'm back in business. Next week, we find out Tony D is back. So tonight, during the panel, they let us know that, hey, Axiom, we don't know when he's coming back. Tony D, he's not coming back. But then in the same night, we find out that they're both coming back next week. So next week's NXT is going to be very interesting and a good starting point for where they're going to go with some of the storylines at Deadline, some of the storylines New Year's, maybe even we'll start getting some WrestleMania access. What's the show they do at WrestleMania? Stand and Deliver, right? Yeah, so maybe we even get some hints at something with Stand and Deliver, what's going to happen after that, who knows. But now we're going to move into the match, Von Wagner versus Malik, and this match had me fucking heated. Because number one, why is Malik body slamming Von Wagner? Why is Malik taking Von Wagner and bashing his head in tables? Why is Malik out there doing everything that Von Wagner should be doing? Why are we not treating Von Wagner like the giant that he is? Why are we booking him? I mean, look, he won the match. He hit the DVD, gets the win. Great. Okay, so at least he's not a complete loser. But the point is this, and they did it in the Braun Breaker match, Jay, and I want to go to you right after. I want to know, why are they doing this to him? Why are they not letting him work like a giant? Why are they giving him this bad booking? Is there a sour taste now in HBK's mouth or something? Is Von Wagner all of a sudden not going to get pushed? Because when I was in that Discord, there were about 30 people in there. Von Wagner, nobody likes him from what I was reading. Nobody in that fucking chat had anything good to say about Von Wagner's work on the mic or in the ring. What do you got to say to all of them? And what do you have to say about this match?
I'm going to say, first of all, it's the power of the sweater vest that makes him body slam Wagner, all that stuff. It's the power of the sweater vest that was given to his dad. Rest in peace, Pops. Now, with that being said, I'm surprised you're going after the wrong person here. I think Von Wagner is innocent of all the charges you just said right now. First of all, Malik Blade made a lot of botches today. Especially that roll-up botch that was just horrible. Wagner was just trying to be there in the ring, but Malik also has some missed kicks as well that didn't even land flush on Wagner. Let's face it, this guy is good as a tag team, but when he's single, I think he just makes one or two little mistakes. And this is not the first time I called it. And Wagner looked impressive. Wagner knew what to do. Now, I really can't explain why he's body slamming this and that. That I cannot call. Maybe your theory is correct, but all I can say is this. Wagner did get the win. The reason why he's not in any of these title so-called pictures is because he's just not getting over. Not with the crowd or anything. It's just not getting over with officials. You know, when you don't get over with officials, they're not really going to go nowhere. It's not the crowd. It's not the manager. It's just the officials. So something is wrong. Something is lacking.
Yeah, I feel like something happened in the last couple of weeks that took away all this guy's momentum. Because just a month ago, 2 months ago, or whatever it was, you remember that whole thing he did with Solo Sikoa? That was all great work. They had him built up like a beast. And now all of a sudden he's getting body slammed by mids. So, and no offense to Malik, he's a great worker, but we've seen him have his fair share of learning pains, or actually I should say growing pains, because that's what we're doing here in NXT. We're growing up in the business. A lot of these kids are just that. They're fucking kids. All right, they're not like theory.
A lot of these kids, Paul, they could do this shit so flush in your face and they're just ease. But then when the cameras are on and you're on live TV, it's just you just make these mistakes.
It's a different world. Not everybody has that blood, bro.
It's about being mental, and it's about, hey, I gotta stay in the moment. I know what the fuck I could do.
You gotta have stone cold blood, man. You gotta have stone cold blood and be ready for that camera and all the shame and embarrassment it's gonna bring to you when you fuck up. And that's what happens. People get nervous because they think about fucking up. They think about making mistakes. And for some people, it just gets the best of them. I believe that was the case with Shotzi versus Ronda at Survivor Series. I believe the hype of the situation, the fact that she's in the ring with the biggest woman superstar WWE has on the card right now, and she fucking froze up, man. She fucked up. It happens. And she's hella good. We know she's 100 times better than what we saw. But it happens, even to the best of us. But it's the ones that it don't happen to that end up becoming very successful legends.
It happened to her, but here's the difference. It happened to her, but it happens to Elite every single time.
Yeah, well, I'll give you that. Now we get back to the Hall of Fame panel discussion. They've made the decision. The men's challenge is going to be Carmelo Hayes, JD McDonough, Grayson Waller, Joe Gacy, and the fifth and final superstar will be determined in a wild card match next week on NXT. So you're going to want to come right back here if you missed NXT next week, and we'll let you know exactly what happened, who's going to be going to Deadline, more progression, NXT storyline. The best coverage that NXT has is right here on Wrestling with Savage. WWE can't even offer you better coverage of NXT. And that's just the way it is. And that's the way it's going to be. Shout out to Carmelo Hayes. I got to use your line, It's a good line. But now we find out the women. Zoe Stark, Cora Jade, Roxanne Perez, Kiana James, and the final contender will also be determined in a wild card next week right here on NXT, which is great. We get two big matches that both have meaning, and they actually are going to lead to something significant storyline-wise. What else? Also next week we're going to get Wagner versus Axiom versus Andre Chase.
Oh, my God.
Right? Does anybody care? That's going to be the wild card match. Wagner versus Axiom versus Andre Chase. Who are we picking out of those three? I have to. I'm actually going with Andre Chase. I think they're going to give it to Chase.
No.
And then or Duke might cost them, right? That's what you're thinking. Okay. Wagner is a safe bet. Wendy Chu, Henley, and Indy Hartwell. I would think they have to go with Indy Hartwell here. Or are we going to do Henley?
Henley.
Because Henley won tonight. Hartwell lost. So maybe next week Hartwell's going to have to make up for that loss by winning that match. Because if Hartwell wins next week, that's a good sign for her career. But if she loses, you got to see the dirt being thrown on her.
I don't think Hartwell can wrestle. I'm going with you.
That's a fair take. I mean, she has her moments, but yeah, she's still green as well. Now we get the main event, the match, Toxic Attraction versus Caden Carter and Katana Chance with Nikita Lyons, and I'm just going to get right into it. This match was awesome. I had a great time. Anytime I get to see the greatest women's superstar of all time in NXT, Mandy Rose, compete, it's always a good night. And then when I get to see actually the most attractive female that NXT has to offer, Gigi Dolan, not only looked incredible tonight in the ring, wrestling-wise, but actually picking up the victory by pinfall at the end of the match with their finish. Toxic Attraction goes over super fucking strong, as usual, holding it down for the NXT Women's Division, main eventing NXT yet again on another Tuesday night. Jay, what'd you think?
What my partner here saw about having an entertaining best match here. This match was full of botches. I can't even.
I had a good time. Mandy Rose.
Let's talk about the Roadrunner, Katana Chance there. Sweetheart, you have to slow down or you're not going to grab your partner. We all saw that she just completely flew by Gigi, and Gigi had to basically just fall on her knees and sell a spot. There goes the spot right there. How about Lyons with the roundhouse kick that she was supposed to hit on Jane and just missed completely? Didn't even hit her head. And Jane sold it. I mean, I could keep going. What about that shitty high-low? Jesus, Gigi just kicked her before Jane even did the kick. It was a shitty high-low. I felt like it was just sloppy all around. Everyone was just sloppy. There was a bunch of spots.
All right, it was fucking sloppy, but I'm being very partial here because Mandy Rose is great and Toxic Attraction's great. We all know they're fucking stars. Let's be honest, they're in the ring with not much good talent, okay? Those girls across from them can't go the way Toxic Attraction can go. And that's just the way it is. Not on that level. Not mentally, not psychologically. They don't have the ring psychology. They don't have the ring movement. They don't have the fucking ring IQ to keep up with a Mandy Rose or a Gigi Dolan or a JC Jane. So it's a miracle the match was even as good as it was. Go ahead, Ant. What you got for me to close out NXT on a Tuesday night?
I'm going to agree with Jay. But because when Toxic Attraction is in the ring with anybody else, those women murder it in the ring. They do. Toxic Attraction is real. My opinion, they need those. I would love to see those three on the main roster.
Well,
on Monday
Merry
Night Raw,
fucking Christmas to you, man, because you're going to get your wish, Anthony. You're going to see them on the main roster. It's just a matter of time. I'm hoping it's not till after NXT Stand and Deliver, because I feel like Mandy Rose should be like a post-Raw Mania debut. She lost the title, boom, right to Monday Night Raw, has a program with whoever the fucking champ is. Bianca, Charlotte, whoever the fuck. I don't even care.
Yeah,
Ronda, Becky.
Because what you could do, too, is if you wanted to keep... I mean, damage control is pretty much dead in the water. But if they could... If creative could rise them back up, that would be a very good first feud for those 6 women.
Well, listen, all I'll say is this. The NXT Women's Division is better than the Raw Women's Division as far as it comes to tag teams. When it comes to tag teams, right now, Raw SmackDown is in desperate need of women's tag teams, and look no further than NXT. You have there's plenty of talent there, especially Toxic Attraction. You get those 2 girls on the main roster right now, they are your tag team champs. Multiple tag team time champs. They're going to kill it.
I will say this. I want to say this real quick.
Yeah, make it real quick because we got to end it.
Yeah. Tonight, the women of NXT murdered it.
I 100% agree.
Very well tonight.
How about you, Jay? You got any final takes before we end this?
Everybody murdered it with botches tonight, y'all. Congratulations. But JC Jane is the star of Toxic Attraction. I saw it tonight, even with the botches. I just think their hearts weren't in the match. We'll see what happens next week.
Well, it's hard to have your heart in the match when you're across the ring from someone that's half as good as you, and that's just the way it is. Gigi Dolan, JC Jane, Mandy Rose, all stars, and they're in the ring with dirt. Anyway, NXT, been a good time. Everybody, make sure you're here tomorrow night. We'll be talking AEW Dynamite right after the show. We go live 10:30 Eastern. Make sure you're following on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, Discord. Join the Discord. Join the conversation. And you can also listen to us live anytime on Spotify. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Jay, for joining me here for another episode of Wrestling with Savage. Everybody have a good night, and God bless.
I'm listening to Wrestling with Savage, the best podcast in the history of podcasts.
Pedigree, 1, 2, 3, project, you live by the champ. Her last ride straight to hell, a tombstone, a choke slam. Here to give it to you raw. This is Wrestling with Savage, SmackDown. Hold the title, this is Wrestling with Savage. What?
Tomorrow's
Because
going to be a good one.
are the best tag team in the world today.
Oh man, I'm so hyped. I
think George just tried his resume for Tony Khan. I don't know. Up for George, huh?
We're savage.
Of course.
Pedigree, 1, 2, 3, project, you live by the champ. Her last ride straight to hell, a tombstone, a choke slam. Here to give it to you raw. This is Wrestling with Savage, SmackDown. Hold the title, this is Wrestling with Savage. What?
Wrestling companies that
I'm trying to do these 2 W.
Yeah.